because even though I track my expenses in terms of my bills and my debts, I don't really track my spending, which I really should be doing, because I do find that every month I end up pulling from my savings by a few £100s. So there's clearly something in my budget that needs addressing, and somewhere where a lot of money is escaping. But I also wanted to do this because I wanted to show everyone that you don't need really fancy, really sophisticated spreadsheets in order to start tracking your money. You can literally do it. I have it on a Google Sheet, because why pay for Excel when you can use Google Sheets? So I have my laptop, I have my iPad with me, which is generally what I use to track it, and I like to track it on my iPad because I can also track it on my phone. So if I want to look at it while I'm out, I've got it to hand and ready. So generally for me, what happens on a payday is my money is paid into one account, and then I have a separate bills account. So I round up my bills. So if I have any bills that are like £41.30, I will round it up to £42, and I will transfer all of that into my bills account. So there is just enough money in that account to cover every single bill that goes out. So I know that regardless of anything else that happens, the roof over my head, my car, my animals, everything is paid for, and I don't need to worry about any of that. And I find that really brings me peace of mind, and it helps me differentiate between what I have to spend and what is already allocated. It's already done. I don't need to think about it. I know people who are getting towards the end of the month and they'll be like, oh, I'm not sure if that bill's going to bounce because there's not enough money left. That's primarily why I have two accounts for that. So, and then also because I overpay it into the account ever so slightly, every now and then it'll work up to having like an additional £5, £10, £15 in there, and I will then move that to either my savings or towards my debt, that type of thing. So I find that really helpful. That's the first thing I do on a payday, and then I move everything else from that account to I have a Chase bank account that I use primarily because I used to get cash back, and now I get a tiny bit of cash back on it, but I like their UI and their app and all that kind of stuff, and that's primarily why I use it now. I tried going back to Nationwide and I just didn't like it, so yeah, that's what I use for that. And then once I've moved all my money that is available to spend, I then I pay my credit cards from that money. My loan debt that comes out is a standing order. It comes out every month on like the 14th or something like that, so that goes into my bills account so that I know it's covered. My credit card, I will just pay directly. So once I move my money to my bills account, I move the rest to my spending account, and from my spending account, as soon as I move the money in, I will immediately pay what I'm paying off my credit card so that I know it's done. And that works for me, but some people will have it as a standing order, so that they don't forget and things like that. But for me, it's such a habit that when I move on payday, I move the money, I just automatically do it. It's just the next thing on my list that I have to do, so I move it to my spending account and then pay what I'm paying off the credit card. And then after that's paid, I will move money for my investments and make sure that they actually get invested and they don't just sit there, although they will get interest just sitting in the account, but make sure you actually invest the money. Yeah. If you watched my other video about goals, you will know that one of my goals for this year is to overpay my debt and get it reduced overall by 40%. So I was moving additional money towards the debt, but I've actually now moved enough that my minimum payments will get me to the 40% plus a bit more. So now I'm actually more concerned about investing extra money and saving extra money, so that's what I'm now focusing on. And another goal of mine for this year was to invest an additional £500, which I am about £50 away from doing. So I've pretty much achieved that, and now I think I'm going to look to invest £1,000 by the end of the year in total, which is doable. I think it means I have to invest about £100 a month from now till December's payslip. From now till December's payslip, and I think that's probably doable. However, we've just paid for a holiday, which is next month, which obviously doesn't leave any time for saving for it, so I will be paying for that from my savings. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is, like I said, I've got my iPad here, which is what I use, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screen record what I'm doing on my iPad for you to see. So this will be on screen now, and this is my iPad. So I just use Google Sheets, and then I'm already in it. Let's have a look. So this is literally it. It's nothing special. It really, really isn't. So at the top we have my monthly income. So this is my take-home pay. This is everything I get after the taxman has taken his bit and student loans have taken their bit, etc., etc. And then I have in column A the date which my payments go out. And this is why I really like having separate accounts, because as you can see, some of them are getting paid like on the 23rd, the 29th, and trying to make sure that you've got that money in your account throughout the month is a bit of a pain. So at least it's that set it and forget it sort of mentality. So yeah, I just find this really helpful. So you can see I have got my mortgage, my car tax, which I pay monthly. It's a habit I got into when I moved into my house, and I've just left it. DV license, water, my energy bill, my council tax. You'll see they are in green because they are things I have to pay. I have to pay them whether I want to or not. I don't want to, but I have to pay them. The next one is a personal loan that I have, and that is on the next tab as well, which is my debts, and that's in red because I shouldn't have it. It's a debt and I need to get rid of it, so it's in red. I have pet insurance for my dog. I have a vet plan for my dog, a gym membership, natural cycles, which is for the ladies. Home insurance, mess bill is in the UK. I am a member of a mess. It's a military thing, and that is my mess bill for the month that I pay. It's to be part of like a club. So yeah, the next. Now to me, that's not in red because it's not a debt. I can stop paying that tomorrow if I want to stop paying it. But I like to pay it, and it's £6. So yeah. I then have my roof loan. So a year especially when you don't have a fully funded emergency fund. However, as you can see, so for me, if I was to have an emergency fund, I would work off about £1,000 a month to make sure all my bills are covered, and that's what I need, in my opinion. Others will say that you need probably food bills and stuff in there, but you know, I just, because I don't track my groceries and stuff like that, I would work off maybe £1,000, maybe £1,200 a month that I should have per month in my emergency fund. But my roof cost me between £7,000 and £8,000, I think it was. So even if I had like 5 months of expenses saved up, that still wouldn't have covered that emergency. So that's why I've previously said that, you know, I think £10,000 is probably where we should be aiming for, although that seems like an absolutely ridiculous amount of money in this economy, but you know, it is what it is. Sky, don't come for me. I know it's expensive. I watch TV every day. Don't at me for it. But I will say that £82 is my Sky and my broadband. I get it both through Sky, so that's probably why it's a bit more expensive. I then have my phone contract, which I have recently just reduced to £17. I'm not sure I could get it much cheaper than that, but you know, I'm fine with £17. It was like £27. I've saved myself some money. Netflix. I watch a lot of Netflix. I'm not cancelling it. And then I have Audible, which I should cancel. That's why I've got it there written to cancel. I don't use it. Will I use it when I go on holiday? I have credits in my Audible account, and apparently you lose them if you don't buy a book with the credits. And I'm like, well, I have like six or seven credits in there, so I need to buy some books with the credits, and then I'll cancel it. I'll cancel it at some point. And then at the bottom here we have my total, which is £993, and that's the same every single month. So every single month, £993 goes into my bills account. I've also got at the side here, I tried to put £41 into my investments, but if I want to reach my new goal of £1,000, that actually needs to be £100, but that doesn't go into the calculations at the bottom on this page. So yeah, I then roughly say I'm going to put £900 in savings. I sometimes do, I sometimes put less in. Quite often I put less in, but I use that to pay towards my debt, which is why it says including £150 for roof payment, because that's how much I was overpaying on the loan to get it reduced. And then I have, you know, remaining to spend for the month on food, petrol, going out, that kind of thing, is £973.69. And then I have this random note at the bottom there that says extra £150 per month. So when I got a pay rise about a year ago now, that £150 is the extra I was getting every month. And to avoid what they call lifestyle inflation, lifestyle creep, I don't class that £150 as part of my money. I immediately move it to it's either in my savings account, or it goes towards my debt, or I might start putting it in investments, etc. But I don't allow myself to have it as everyday money, because I don't want to get used to spending it. And when I hopefully should get a pay rise in the next couple of months, I'll be doing the same thing. So instead of an extra £150, it might be an extra £300 or something like that. So on the next tab, I have my debts, and this is just very see 2 of them are 0%, and I haven't been overpaying them. So yeah, you'll see that my roof loan is the only one with a percentage against it, and it's technically higher than what a normal stock market return would be, which is normally about 7%. So technically I should probably be paying a bit more of that off than investing more money, but I've decided that for me, I would rather have a bit more in savings and a bit more invested. You know, I'm 32 now. I've lost the best decade of my life for investing. So although that's an 8.8%, which is quite high, I would rather have more time in the market to invest. So I'm going to continue obviously to pay that, but I'm also going to put more in my investments because that's what I want to do. So that's what I'm doing. There are rules in finance, but don't ever let anyone tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing, because it's what they're doing. For me, it feels right to be paying more into my investments than paying off this loan. I'm well aware of the loan, and I will overpay some more on it next year to get it reduced even further, quicker. But for now, I want the comfort of knowing I've got more in my savings and more in my investment portfolio. So yeah. And again, my personal loan is only £800, and I could get that paid off right now, but it's not percent, and I would rather have that £800 in savings or invested than get that paid off. So I'm just going to continue making my payments on that. So then I have obviously the total of what all my debt is, and that's £7,037. If I want to achieve my goal of the year for reducing my debt by 40%, I need my total debt to get to £6,262 and 20 pence. And the difference between those two numbers is £775. So I'll be able to get that paid off by the end of the year. You can then see that I have my monthly payments there that I make for each of them and the total that is. And I just have some rudimentary formulas in here, as you can see at the bottom there, just so that it's all all automatic and I don't have to do maths. Maths is not my strong point. And then at the end here I have my timescales in months for how long paying the minimum, the monthly payments, will take me to clear the debt. So my credit card is on 0% until November 26. It probably won't be paid off before then, and I have good credit. I can get another credit card on 0% and just balance transfer it. I don't spend on it at all. It is literally just lingering debt that I'm paying off bit by bit, but while it's on 0%, I'm not overly concerned about it. Then obviously it's going to take me 8 months to pay £800 and £100 per month payment, and I'm fine with that. That's just, yeah. And yeah, my roof loan, that's a bit of a funny one, because I recently realised that although I'm paying almost £124 a month off of it, you can see at the bottom here that currently only £86 is going towards the total. The rest is being swallowed up by the interest on the loan, which is why obviously a higher interest debt we need to pay off quicker, because even though we're paying more off towards it, it's not all going. So although it says it's going to take me 40 months to pay off that debt, it's actually not it's going to take me longer because it's actually only about £86–87 that is being paid off per month, not £124. So, but I'm not overly concerned about the timescale. It was just there for reference for me, really. And then in column J, you can see the balance that they all started on in January this year. They were for my calculations for the 40%. I also keep a quick record here that my mortgage rate runs out on the 30th of June next year, so I will need to look for a new one, and that's going to be massive because I'm currently on it's either a 1 point something or a 2% mortgage, which in the UK is like not heard of now, so that's going to be fun. And then I've got a little note here as well from July this year that instead of moving the £244 additional payments for my debt, I'm now going to move it into either savings or investment or a mixture of both, depending on how I feel and what I'm doing. But as you can see at the bottom there, I've put that I want to invest more and save more, but I'm currently unsure on my numbers, so the split between the two. But as I've said, I have a holiday to pay for now, so that £244 for this month is going straight towards that holiday. But yeah, and then I do have an investing tab, which it's by the by, I don't really update that. I probably should, but yeah, that's literally the basics of how I manage my my debt and my bills. I don't track my budget, which is something I really, really need to do, and I think it's gonna be absolutely disgusting when I have a look at how much I actually spend. I can tell you right now, it's on food. It's on food, and it is on takeaway. 100%. I put maybe one tank of fuel in a month. It cost me about £70–80, and I just know it's takeaway and it's food. But what can you do? I like to eat, and I like to eat out in nice places, so that is something I enjoy spending my money on, and I can afford it, so I do it. But that is literally like the most simple and basic way that I track my money, and I just wanted to show everyone because I feel like sometimes people might see the really fancy trackers online and think, oh, I can't budget, I can't build a spreadsheet like that, or oh, I need to buy one, or things like that. It's like you don't have to. You can literally, so long as you can use like the sum function in Sheets or Excel, you can make a spreadsheet and track your finances. It really is that simple, and it takes away some of the pressure, but it also adds the pressure because I'm sure many people will use the fact that they can't do a spreadsheet or they don't have a tracker as a means for ignoring their finances and feeling like, I'm just blissfully unaware. But you need to face up to them, put it on a spreadsheet, make sure it's there, it's all there, list it out, and then you can have a really good look at what you need to do and how to get yourself in a better place. I really do think that, financial financial well-being is part of your well-being, and it's unfortunate that we're not taught this, and we need to cobble something together ourselves. But it's doable, and I think it's scary at first, but once you get over that initial fear of looking at it, then you can start tackling it with open eyes and create a plan and move forward. And the little bit of satisfaction and joy when you get to pay off a credit card, or you get to pay off a loan, maybe early, or just in general you get to pay it off, it brings such satisfaction. And if you know your finances and you have your numbers on a sheet, you have them somewhere and you know them, once you've paid off that debt, you have a roadmap, you have an idea of how you got in that debt in the first place, your biggest spends, where your money's going, but you can hopefully have a plan so that you don't get into further debt going forward once it's paid off, because you know what you need to do. So I will be making another video of me and tackling my budget. I'm gonna go through my statement for at least last month and maybe the month before, and have a look at what I'm spending on, and I'm gonna categorize it and I'll put it on a spreadsheet and everything so I can have a look. I did do it at the back end, I think, of 2020, either 2023 or 24. I went through my bank accounts and had a look at my categories for spending, and I think it was something absolutely disgusting. Like, I'd spent, I think, what was it? It was thousands of pounds I'd spent in Tesco. Thousands of pounds in Tesco on I don't know what. And that didn't include Tesco fuel. It was just inside the Tesco superstore. I was like, wow, okay, that's